Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Friday the 6th of October comes to you from London. And we start as always by looking at the dollar, and it's going stronger. The dollar index just climbing to new highs here, really showing a very strong sign of recovery here. No clear upside targets on the short and medium term charts, but what's interesting is we found support on this 0.5% point and figure chart, and we are just seeing the dollar coming back into sort of test this resistance level against the basket of currencies, but really just going higher all the time. And if we look at that on the Ichimoku chart, we see just for the last 2 weeks the dollar really strengthening there and breaking new highs again this morning. Taking a look at the euro just sinking lower. Of course, the converse of is true here. The euro dollar chart actually sinking lower on that dollar strength, and against the Japanese yen, this is where the dollar is really showing its hand, coming through to bullish in the medium and long term now. These are quite big long term transitions. So having had a very tough few months, the dollar is starting to look quite strong again. And we see that showing up very much in the sterling chart. Sterling had an amazing September, but it's just falling right the way back now, testing this 130 level. And again, just bearish here. Bearish long term. The medium term still just holding on, but the short term chart looking very bearish. Sterling falling away against a stronger dollar. And against the euro, we're seeing sterling falling back as well. So sterling weakness really creeping in there. Against the Swiss franc, we're bearish for sterling. And against the Australian dollar, we're seeing is testing new lows. 165. 3% lower activated. So sterling, the weak currency at the moment, euro weak, and dollar strong. Looking at the S&P 500 index, we're just holding, we're going higher again. We see yesterday's move here, 225.52 is where we closed. Looking at that on the weekly chart, we just see this stellar trend that we've seen in 2017, just moving higher all the time. And for the Nasdaq, finally breaking to new highs as well. So the Nasdaq was lagging, now looking higher. Good upside targets here. US stock market's looking very strong indeed. The Dow going higher, and the Russell 2000 also going higher. So looking very strong across the board on US indices. The S&P future virtually unchanged this morning. The Nasdaq E-mini much the same. So no real heads up yet as to which way the US markets will open. Taking a look at the FTSE 100. Moving higher here, back above the 7,500 level, so that's quite important, but it's failing to make a new high as yet, so we're just lagging the US. The FTSE 250, though, is just making new highs, so that is looking better than mid-caps. The DAX are also looking strong. The German DAX just making new highs yesterday, so that's also really bullish. And the Nikkei on that weaker yen also now testing the 2015 high, so looking stronger there. Hang Seng was lagging, but we're now back above the cloud, having had some stronger days, and we are just seeing that stronger. The Shanghai Composite still just sitting a little bit below the cloud, and the Sensex just struggling a little bit as well, but looks like it will come through. The Australian market has been testing new lows, bounced a bit overnight, so that's looking a little bit better. Brent crude sitting at 57, so we're still nudging for these high 50s, and WTI back above the $50 level, so that's good news for WTI, but still looking a little bit bearish in that short-term chart. US nat gas just struggling at 291, just sitting in the 290s, can't get back above that $3 level. Copper, really big jump yesterday, looking strong again, and that's a clear sign for industrial and production globally, and that's looking good again. So copper has had an amazing run the last few months as well. Taking a look at gold, we see gold is still just struggling. Whilst the markets are all looking solid and strong, of course gold, the risk trade comes the other way, so gold falling away here whilst we're seeing the strength in stock markets and the dollar. Taking a look at silver, much the same picture, of course. US Treasury yield sitting at 2.36%, so we're just nudging higher. That expected rate rise in December now is built in. And looking at Apple, we're seeing them recovering through the cloud now, so that's looking better short term. Google continues to look stronger. Amazon also just back through the cloud. Tech now really catching up. Facebook also back above the cloud. And Microsoft really jumping yesterday to a new high, so that's really good news for Microsoft shares. That's it for today. Until Monday, have a great weekend. Happy charting. See you then.